What stupid thing am I working on today? Well, a while ago, I was talking about my water tank under the bench. You know, my water tap, and I have vacuum gauges. So we've been playing around with water and water pressure and some pumps I got, and I can only get enough water pressure out of one pump, so that's going to have to do. And we've got our tank assembly, and it doesn't leak now anymore, and I painted it so you can't see how bad my welds are. And inside the tank is the Humboldt style aspirator pump. So we're going to feed the water. This is a water feed. Then it's going to go out the nozzle and into the tank, and I have to wash the tank out because there's a bunch of shit in there now, because we cut the opening after we welded because I was afraid it was going to distort really bad without the metal in there to support it. So we're finally at the point where we have an opening, and I just cut a piece of aluminum. I don't care if it's steel or whatever. That's going to get all banged up and shit. On the underside, we're going to put a gasket. We're going to glue the gasket on, and then we're going to put like a dozen bolts and just do a sheet metal. And we've got a vent so that it can breathe, the fill, so we can fill it with water. Water port, vacuum port, and drain. It's a drain. I still have to weld on tabs on the back here to attach it to the wall. I just haven't decided where those are going to be just yet. This is really heavy. It's over 5 gallons, which is 40 pounds just of water. And the tank itself is like a good 10 pounds by itself, so 50 pounds. So the wall support has to support 50 pounds, whatever that means. We'll probably get a piece of wood or something. Not quite sure just yet. I don't want it rattling on the wall. That's going to be terrible. I wanted to do a French cleat, but that didn't work out too well with the stainless. The bending and all, it wasn't happy with the bending. So we'll get it up there somehow. But right now we're just finishing it out. And I only have the one aspirator. I can only manage the one aspirator. So we're going to have to redo the gauge block, the gauge, the water thing on the wall, so that it only has one vacuum gauge, which is a real disappointment to me, but what can I say? You need the pressure, you need the flow and the pressure, and it's hard to get that with water. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, we're finally halfway there. Just want to get this on so it doesn't pop off. Alright, halfway there. Not quite there all the way, but halfway there. So we can't use the bottom vacuum. We don't have enough water pressure for the bottom. So we're going to have to forego that, but I think we're going to turn it into a mantle control. Like one of these dudes with the little light. I think it'll take up that spot pretty good. So we'll have built-in mantle control, vacuum, and water. Right? So I think we're almost there. So we got water. And We got vacuum. So we're using a Humboldt vacuum aspirator with a fairly sizable pull pump, and we're not doing too shabby there. 28's not bad when you're using water as a pumping fluid. It was 28.5 on the other gauge, but this one's reading 28. These gauges are basically for indication only. You're not going to get true vacuum from these gauges, but if it's saying 28, I'm good with 28. It's plenty for you know, you're running your cooling loop and you're doing a vacuum distillation at the same time. So we'll have to see what temperature we can get up to boil water at room temperature. I'm hoping that we can boil water at 50 C. That would be nice. So we shall see. It'll be a benchmark. So that's real. I'm pretty happy with that. At least I won't be destroying my gas pumps anymore. They're expensive to rebuild. I don't like having to rebuild them. So, yeah. Nice to have a little bench space, mad sciencey thing. I was looking for a glove thing online last night, and the cheap shitty ones are, well, you know, 20-30 bucks. The stainless one they want $80 for a single, which I thought was horrible. I'd have to spend the $80 and pay for shipping and all that. So I made one myself. We have the stainless, so we just took some thin, I don't know, maybe 22 gauge stainless. I had to add the bottom because we have this in strip, and I just took the box and just kind of measured the box. So it's basically as wide as the box, and then the wings are 2.5, and then I just made this, you know, like 3/4 and took the corners off. And then I don't rivet properly, but you can see they're all smileys. But it's riveted. I was gonna zap it with the TIG torch and do the spot weld technique, but I decided not to do that because I have to set up the welder to do that. Rivets is faster. So I'm gonna hang it on the wall, and then we'll have our glove thing. And it didn't cost me anything more than the stainless we already had, and I had to buy the stainless steel cutting blade for the circular saw, but I had already bought that a while ago. So really not a big deal there. And we finally got our control console done. We don't have any water right now, but I modified the bottom. I couldn't support 2 vacuums. I didn't have enough water pressure for 2 vacuums. But what I opted to do is build in a mantle control. So we have a mantle control in here, and that's just a glass call mantle control. It's really an oven control, but the hard part anymore is getting knobs. So yes, I spent more. The oven control itself is like $49, and I have one of those coming as a backup unit. If this one decides to fail, then I'll have a unit to swap in. The hard part, even if you could get the control for cheap, the hard part is getting the knob, because you're not going to find that without the control. They were made as a production set item. So I opted to buy the glass call control and just gut it, and I added my own twist lock outlet. I had to buy those separate, new old stock, separate kind of thing. They're still around, but you have to look for them. It looks shiny now. It's gonna get all this is gonna get all corroded as it's exposed to vapor in the future. So it looks good now. It's gonna look like crap later. But that's a different story. So our vacuum works, water works. We have mantle control, pretty much all in one. So that's good to go. I'm gonna put my glove thing up, and then we got to get back to work on power supply. There I am in the reflection. We got to get back to work on the power supply ops soon here. I've been dreading the circuit boards that go in there. That's been my hang up. But let's do this and wrap that up. All right, there we are. Sweet. There we go. So remember, get out there in your shop, make something. Get off your ass and make something. It's worth it.